And we'll start with the roll call.
Driving a gas truck, only do the thing probably with
We got
maybe do the job, or we had friends who did it too.
We're in the dark down here.
We were doing stuff up on the screen. The
Okay, if
budget's
we can
checking
start the
things
meeting,
out.
please.
That was driving me nuts.
We'll open it up with the roll call, please.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ingalls. Heath. Mays.
Yes.
Ritter. Weller. Yoder.
Yes.
Robert.
And since you don't have a quorum, Mr. Young can serve as your fourth.
Okay. We have all right, Cox or no? Approval of the agenda. We need a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Mays, second by Mr. Yoder. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those approval minutes last month. Okay, Mr. Mays.
Sure.
And second by Yoder. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Business to come before the committee. Probation Department quarterly report. Mr. Baker.
Things are going well, as usual, as recently they have been anyway. Workload-wise, we're staying pretty consistent now. Things have been kind of up and down. They've settled out. At any given moment, we've got about 300 folks on probation itself, and then probably another 75 or so we're working with in other capacities. Investigations are staying pretty consistent. The only thing that has continued to grow a little bit, and I've talked about this before, is the work we are doing with people while they are, just after they were arrested for the pending bond hearing. We've recently established IHR, actually doing a risk assessment on some of those folks to give the judge a score on their likelihood to get arrested again for domestic violence cases. So that's kind of factored into the bond process, but there's a lot of talk in Springfield about changes in that system anyway, so I think we're actually a little ahead of the game, hopefully, on what those changes might do when they get here. One number I've never given you before, this is a curiosity for you, community service is probably up compared to historically. I haven't really kept it for a long time, but we're running about 3,000 hours ordered a month and about 1,900 completed a month.
Community service.
And what do they do for community
A little bit of
service?
everything. It can be any government agency or not-for-profit. They can't get paid, of course, but anything that's legal for them to do by labor law. So it can be cleaning, mowing, picking up garbage, painting. Most of it does have a tendency to be physical labor like that. But you get some work sites that get creative. We've got about 20 work sites throughout the county that take folks. Pontiac has about 10. All the smaller towns have a few. City of Pontiac has been one of our biggest ones. Historically, they work at the cemetery and the parks quite a bit. They help Vermillion players. We used to have quite a few nursing homes. They've kind of pulled back from that as their rules have changed on who they can have there. We probably need more work sites, frankly. That's something we've got as a target for next year to work on. It's just getting harder, I think, for folks to be able to accept people. We do have some situations where kids go to the Humane Society, Boys and Girls Club, but we have enough to get by. We always use more. So, and that's something, a lot of the growth there is driven by the legislature, because a lot of the traffic offenses now, they have built in automatic minimums, either a certain amount of time in jail, a certain fine, or a certain amount of community service. So everybody picks their community service, thinking they'll get it done. We'll find out down the road if they do or not. So budgeting wise, we're doing fine. We're at, with 75% of the year done, we're at 73%. And we're gonna actually be a little more under budget than that. We've got some things I'm ahead of the game as far as spending money on in those line items. Reimbursement from Springfield, I actually haven't seen August reimbursement yet from Barb. As of July's reimbursement, they owe us half of this year's money yet, of fiscal year 18's money yet. They have traditionally run behind. There'll be chunks of money that'll come our way. I don't think we'll get it all, but we never really have. It's always been a, here's your number and we'll get to it, and then they kind of do it. And that's why I struggle sometimes to put a lot of stock in what they predict a year is going to be. They have told us fiscal year 19 will be a 15% cut from last year's figure, which we don't have anyway. If they actually pay us what they're saying, that'll put us pretty comparable to where we were fiscal year 15 and 17. So it's not way down from what we're used to, but it's certainly down from last year. But there seems to be a pretty good trend of, here's the amount you're going to get, and it never gets there. So it's going to be kind of hard to actually see what that's going to look like. Some of the new programs and things running recently, drug court's going well. I believe we're up to 6 clients in it now. I previously mentioned we're accredited by the state now. We're the only one in central Illinois, I think, that's achieved the accreditation. So we are also involved in the legislature mandated the start of the Veterans Court. What we did in the 11th Circuit to get it done on time by the date they gave us. We started one for the whole circuit. So there's a program running out of Bloomington that all the 5 counties are using. We've got one person in that. We have at times considered starting our own and not being part of the circuit-wide one, but I have a guess at this point that we're going to actually stay in the circuit-wide one. Although it presents some logistic issues, the number of people we seem to have in that program is small enough. I don't know if it makes sense for us to have our own. And they've been able to get some grant monies and things that'll help with some of the issues as far as transportation and dealing with the fact that we're 40 miles from everything going on with it. So last time I was here, I think I reported I did fill the supervisor spot in the department here at Mund, and it's doing very well so far. We've given some day-to-day duties to him, which has allowed me to get back out to some of the state level stuff, both the Springfield, the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts, and the Probation Association. There is a ton of it. It's very much we're going to change everything. Movement in Springfield right now in the court system. We'll see if they actually do half of what they threaten. But right now, it looks like they're going to do the whole thing in the next couple of years is the way they're talking. So some of that will affect you folks. So I'll talk to you about it when I know more. But it'll allow me to at least be out there and be part of that conversation, I think. So we otherwise fully staffed for the first time in a long time. Close to properly trained, probably another 3 months or so getting people up to speed, but in pretty good shape overall.
Any questions?
And what is fully staffed? I mean,
9 officers, a supervisor and a director, and 2 support staff. So, and we do have a part-time co-op student that just started actually. So, and that's the level we've been at for several years. We've just had it fluctuating because of people leaving and things changing. So
thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. The next on the agenda is temporary liquor license application for a place called Mug Shots. Right?
That's correct, and Christy received this just today. She's here if you have any questions.
Okay. It's been
It's
checked
been in
out.
the works for a couple of months. It's for an event that somebody's having a wedding out south of town and they wanted them to come and do it. They own an establishment in Chatsworth. This Mug Shots is located in Ashcombe, but they're the ones that they wanted them to cater or do the liquor part of it for their reception. I talked to Randy about it because we really don't have a lot of information on, and some of the information that we are asking of them really may not pertain to a temporary one, so we're looking at redoing the whole application. They own, when I say the one in Chatsworth, the big house.
Can't they run that event through that one?
I don't know, I didn't ask them that because I didn't realize they had one. We looked at this a month ago, and then she was checking with the owner because the Mug Shots is a sole proprietorship. Well then, I hadn't heard from them, a week ago, and I called, still didn't hear back. Well then Lisa, the manager, came in, she called me back today. Her daughter had been in the hospital at the Lurie's and that. They had emergencies and they've been up there the last few weeks back and forth, so she brought everything in today and they are gonna go ahead and get the fingerprints. Randy looked at this, I sent all of it over to him, and he said it looked okay from his point of view right now, because I've had other questions on it, and we've been back and forth on it, and I don't know, I didn't ask him about that. They've only owned that one for about a year. This other one they've had longer, so I don't know.
And this will be a one-day license?
Yeah. And the paperwork, everything that they submitted, she's got their state license, their certificate of insurance liability from the state, or for the state, and the state license attached with this. And that's, Randy said, contingent upon, clean approval from their background check. We've got to have that done yet too, so that hasn't come back.
And the date's
You'd think that they already have a liquor license, why would they have to have all that over again?
It's off premise and that, and then we don't have jurisdiction on the one they have in Chatsworth, because that's within the village. We only do the ones
Yeah,
outside the
shows the
incorporated
insurance.
areas,
Okay.
so.
Fire
yeah,
license.
so.
Right there. A year.
I don't know, if I can find out, I can call him and ask him. Cause she gave me her phone number, so if we had any questions, cause this is the first time they've been asked to do something over here, there might be more, so.
So what kind of action do we need? We need to approve it or?
Recommend it to the board,
I,
you know?
I recommend it.
Right, Mr.
Yeah, I
Yoder
think
made a
that-
motion to recommend it.
And would it be contingent upon the clean background check?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Completed background check.
Put that in there.
I will do that.
I still check with them about
I'm going
passwords.
to, I'll ask her about
Cause
it.
I don't see what we could.
I don't
I don't
either.
know either.
Yeah, why wouldn't they use Chancellor Business instead of Ashland?
Yeah. I mean, they've already got a county doing business in the county. I don't know.
I'll go down, I'll check with them and see if I can get an answer.
You mean
from
why
them.
they even need this license here?
Well, they would need that
Because
because they're
it's a
only
different-
regulated in the village of
Yeah.
Chatsworth, so they would have to get something from us,
Okay.
the unincorporated area anyway.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Contingent upon.
Contingent upon state's attorney's approval. All right, liquor license application. Didn't we do that before?
The DNT one is still going through the zoning process, so we have to wait for them to get through that,
Okay,
so
so
nothing there.
Nothing there. Monthly department report, we have that here. Thank you, Earl, for that. And, you take your time to look over. Any questions by committee members on the monthly department report? Shows citations, violations, and then breaks down on what the codes mean as to the various infractions. Yeah. On the last two pages. Okay. Any questions on the monthly department report? If not, we'll accept that. A motion to accept the report.
Sure.
The order,
That's a motion.
second by Mays, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Cook County Federal Report, Mr. Cox.
Okay, the financials aren't completed yet, but I'll give you the numbers that we have right now.
Right.
For the Northern District of the Feds, we have 44. Central District, we have 33 of them, so we have 77 feds right now. 17 Cook County, for a total of 94 out-of-county inmates. We have 50 of Livingston County inmates in right now at 144 total.
50, it was like 38 last month.
Yeah. Fluctuates.
Must have been a lot of bad guys in office.
Good weekend.
Yeah, good week.
Probably more likely, yes.
Are any of these Livingston County inmates are they like work release? Weekend people?
No, they just, because the work release wouldn't be on this count because they'd be gone already.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some, there's fewer.
Few.
Yeah. We keep the numbers fairly low because we use those
These are
beds.
beds,
Yeah.
No problems over there. Your staff is adequate?
You're doing well.
Very well. Good.
We actually still have some that be coming back from the academy here real soon, which we're looking forward to quite a bit.
Good. Very good. Well, you got two?
Three in academy right now.
Okay, good. Any questions? If not, we'll accept that report. Appreciate it. Animal control report. Is the handout, which Alena gave to us. Any questions? On that, it shows through August, income 41,183, expenses 26,518. And then the animal control coordinator expense 19,418. Any questions? If not, motion to accept that report. Yoder, second by Mays, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Proactive report. Nothing on that.
I have numbers here for you. Still Hamilton, Brooke, Benning, and also Meyer from Dwight. They did 6 controlled buys, 3 meth, 1 cannabis, 3 cocaine, and 3 Xanax. They also attempted 3 other buys, and they assisted Trident up north on a buy. 7 ounces of cocaine. It says here 19,600.
I was gonna say, that's a lot of cocaine.
15 grams of heroin, yeah. And they sign up 1 CS and debriefs 6 on CSs.
CS.
Confidential sources.
Thank you. I forget stuff from month to month.
Me too.
Any questions on that? Okay. We see Hamilton congratulating him from us on his promotion to lieutenant, right?
Yep.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right, let's move on to raffle license. We went from Pontiac Rotary, right?
It is a Class B license. You can win a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, my.
Wow, how much are the tickets?
About $10,000.
They're $50 a piece, and the raffle will run from November 1st, 2018 through February 8th, 2019. And the drawing will be held at the VFW in Pontiac.
Any questions? If not, we'll accept the motion.
So if I make a motion and approve it, and I win it, is that conflict of interest?
No.
No. No, as long as you share it, it won't be a thing. No, go ahead.
I second it.
Yoder, seconded, Mays made the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
To approve it? Aye, opposed? Review and approval of bills, has it got around to you, the bill?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
I think I've read it.
Fine.
And I'll make that motion.
Mr. Yoder, make the motion to approve the bills as presented. Mr. Mays seconded it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment?
I got a public comment,
Yes, sir.
and I don't know who to direct it to, probably you, Bill. I read in the paper, you're starting a GED program.
We actually have a GED program. We're expanding it a little bit. So we've had a GED program. We've switched to using computers and a program that you can adapt to. So when someone leaves, they can go straight to a public library and continue, or to one of the junior colleges, or any one of them, or if they go to prison even, they can continue it on their system, so.
Well, we hope they don't do that.
So it's held.
Either way, they still may get a GED out of it, so.
So that's going well.
Yeah.
Then there was something else I read about.
Vivitrol?
Yeah,
Vivitrol is to combat opiates. So if we get volunteers, you have to volunteer, then IHR helps coordinate, who does most of the actual footwork on it, and follow up, but you can't get high on opiates if you take this Vivitrol. So if you volunteer, it's an avenue of maybe defeating the draw of it, because you can't get high from it.
does it repel people from the craving that they
What
want?
it does is it actually blocks the receptors in the body of it, so they just can't get high from it. So yeah, I mean, if you can't get high from it,
And they can't,
no use spending money on it. If you
and they
get high.
can they overdose?
They can overdose. That's part of the reason that IHR is instrumental in it, because they have to sign off and understand the fact that, look, if you try to get high because you won't get high and you keep taking it, you can still overdose.
Keep taking the opiate.
Mhm.
You don't overdose on the Vivitrol.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
no, it's on the heroin.
It's under, control.
So there is a chance, there is a possibility, because if you
Yeah.
just keep taking it, thinking, I'll surely get high sooner or later.
And I assume this is pretty costly?
It is, but
It's a grant?
right now, right now, they're basically samples and it's grants that, so it's free at this point.
Have you got are there some that are enrolled in that program?
Yes, you got 6 they're looking at right now.
I can probably add to it, IHR has actually been using the program for some time in conjunction with their treatment. It's an injection done in a medical setting, so yeah,
Correct.
they can't overdose themselves. It's, from what we've seen, pretty beneficial if they do it in conjunction with.
Yeah, you won't overdose from the Vivitrol, because there would be no draw to it. The only possibility is if somebody is silly enough to continue to try to use heroin, you know, to try to get high after that you've attempted to. Because if they even attempt to, they're not gonna get high. It blocks the receptors.
So, 2 questions. It's only for heroin?
No, it's for heroin and alcohol too.
Okay. And are these court ordered?
No,
I mean,
it's a volunteer basis. You have to volunteer to,
okay.
How often do they need the injection?
you know,
Once a month
yeah.
in general, and it works for all the opiates, so if you have a person addicted to prescription stuff, hydrocodone, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Any of the opiates.
And I would be surprised, even though they're doing it on a voluntary basis in the jail, some of those folks are actually court ordered to do treatment at IHR. So they'd be getting to pitch some of their way, but it's hugely beneficial, I think, for the jail to be, because they can get day one. Where, because one of the concerns we always run with the treatment is, a lot of the time they'll get out of treatment and they can't make that immediate connection to IHR, whoever, to get started with treatment and get the shot for a few days, and the risk is huge in that.
Right,
Whereas here, are you doing it before they leave the jail or right as they're getting ready to leave, kind of thing?
right before.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So our nursing staff will actually administer the shot.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very good program. I mean, it's, if you know anything about the epidemic, I mean, it's very widespread, it's very hard to get away from, and it's extremely difficult.
This is even, it's great in 2 ways, because not only does it eliminate the cravings, but the numbers for success on treatment, if you keep them sober while they're doing their treatment, is a lot higher than the guys who are still struggling with wanting to use while they're doing the treatment, so. Good.
Any other questions? Danny, the coroner's here. Danny, you have anything?
Well, I can give you an average of what we've been dealing with this year.
Okay.
Last year, we averaged 1 death a day.
Wow.
And this year, up to yesterday, we're already at 264 deaths. We're averaging 33 a month.
Wow.
I've already sent a note to Diane that we're gonna need some more money put into the autopsy account. Or they could just handle it on a day-by-day position. But I'm having a big run of elderly people that haven't seen doctors in years. They have no medical records, basically. There's, of course, the drug deaths. We've had 8 drug deaths this year, which is good because it's down. And it's a mixture of heroin and fentanyl and opiates, both, is what we've been having. Patients overdosing. And but so far we're running 30 autopsies this year, and that's up from last year at this time, just because of this stuff going on. I've become extremely aggressive with local doctors, and most of them are knowing that now. If it's a medical death, I'm insisting they sign. Some of them don't like that. But I started a new form about this time last year. It's a doctor out of town form. And I send that to the office. If they won't talk to me, which some of them won't, I send it to their office, and they've got 48 hours to sign it and send it back with a cause of death. Otherwise, I subpoena all their records. And it seems to be working just great. Because the doctor usually has to hand them to me in person. So, but that's how things are going. I finally got my Starcom radios ordered. And they should be here in a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna have to meet with the VCOM committee for that, so.
It's a good system, very clear as I understand. I think Tommy told me he could be in St. Louis and hear you guys talk.
Yeah.
I said, well, no one can get away with anything, right? He says, I'm listening.
He's always listening, there ain't no doubt about that.
That's okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Yoder, second. Mr. Mays, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.